All right, we've got a listener from Savannah that writes, what do I do if my husband of 6 years hasn't been the best husband and I haven't been the best wife to him either, but I'm done, even though he's changing and trying to fight for our marriage and he's fighting hard for our family, but I just don't want to anymore. We just don't trust one another anymore. I made the decision to get divorced and I'm not changing my mind no matter how much he changes. We are godly and saved. We both come from divorced families. He doesn't believe in divorce. I decided not to go back to our pastor for counseling. We have 4 beautiful children. What should I do?
Well, I appreciate the question. I'm glad you asked it. It sounds to me like you are at a point of turmoil. You say you're done, you're not going back, but if that were true, you wouldn't be writing me. So I think you know in your heart of hearts that you need to fix this, and God can fix it. Listen, I don't know what the trust factors are driving you today. I just don't know because you're not in front of me. Maybe someone had been unfaithful maritally. I don't know what the circumstances are, but whatever they are, God is bigger than your circumstances. And the fact that your husband wants to restore the marriage and he's working hard, but let's too make a distinction between saved and godly. You can be saved, but the decision you at least express that you want to make, that you want to divorce your wife, that your husband, that you do not want to forgive him, that's not a godly decision. That's an ungodly decision. That's what the world does. And again, I don't know, the circumstances behind what's driving your decision, but trust can be restored. I think it was the president of Columbia University about 40 years ago said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again while expecting to get different results. So whatever you've been doing as a Christian couple obviously has not worked. And so change needs to be entered into the equation. And where does that change begin? Well, it starts, of course, with a healthy local assembly that you're a part of. If you don't have a place to go, I noticed this caller is from Savannah. Your church may not be meeting. You can certainly live stream our services, but what I would highly suggest is that you live stream the service called Basic Discipleship. We've already done about 8 sessions. There are 20 handouts. Some handouts take 3 or 4 weeks each. The first handout took 4 weeks. The second handout, if we finish it this Wednesday night, will take 3 weeks. You should go through that. Why? Because if a person is a growing believer, there are 9 traits that are developed in their life: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And those 9 traits will grow progressively with every year as you walk in the Spirit. And you think about it. If those 9 traits are true in you and your husband, that's going to make for a fantastic marriage and a great home in which to raise these kids. Look, God says, I, the God of Israel, hate divorce. So if you want to know what God's opinion is, he says, I, the God of Israel, hate divorce, Malachi 2:16. And one of the reasons he hates it is because it's the breaking of a covenant. It's tearing apart 2 living people. And he also underscores the damage that it does to your children. Look, it would be far more courageous for you to say, I don't know how we're going to do this, but with God's grace, because God's grace is sufficient and I can do all things through him who strengthens me, then I'm going to fight for this marriage. Look, the fact that you wrote me told me you're not done. So I'm glad you wrote me. But get help. Please get help. Don't jettison this marriage. Anyone can do that. It will take courage, and it will take time to rebuild the trust factor. But there needs to be some change that's entered into the equation, and you don't want to jettison this relationship. If you don't know where to start, feel free to call us here at Community Bible Church and ask for one of the pastors, and we'll give you some online encouragement and coaching and counseling from Scripture, too.
Dr. Carl Broggi answers your questions about the Bible and living the Christian life Tuesday mornings at 11 on The Light 88.7 FM and online around the world at wagp.net.